Some of the new features are broken down by these different categories. Reporting features. They've added grouping visuals, or the ability to group visuals, filter pane auto update, icon style picker for icons, conditional formatting warnings, color and text classes and themes, new default themes, personalized visualization pane improvements, the ability to unpin default visuals, the ability to see the about info for visuals, a new modern ribbon similar to other Office products, customize current theme and the ability to export that current theme, setting table, column, or matrix value as a custom URL. They've also added the ability with KPI visual formatting settings, new decomposition tree formatting, filter pane toggle button in the new ribbon, hierarchical slicer, the ability in the new ribbon to have title bars, key tips, and accessibility, new action types for buttons, page navigation, and drill through in preview mode, multi-column sort for tables, dual axis for line charts, filter pane searches, ability updates to the decomposition tree. They've also added some new features for analytics and modeling, some changes to key influencer improvements, measurement support, custom format strings, conditional formatting for more visual formatting options, so alternate text, border color, gauge colors. They've also added new DAX expressions, remove filters, and the convert DAX expression, new Q&A visuals, and improved user experience for Q&A. Some Q&A tooling features have been added, so the review questions, teach Q&A, and review all changes made. They've also added conditional formatting for buttons, new DAX function quarter, some other DAX functions, first non-blank value and last non-blank value. They've also made some changes or new features for visualization and template apps. So some of the new visualizations that have been added are visualizations by XViz, ArcGIS map updates, financial reporting matrix by profit base, and some new visuals from Zebra BI Visuals. They've also added some template apps. They have a Facebook Pages basic analytics app, Google Analytics Report, Project Web App, LinkedIn Sales Navigator for sales operations, Omnichannel Insights for D365, Customer Service Analytics for D365, and Microsoft 365 Usage Analytics template apps. They've also made some changes for data prep and connectivity. There are a bunch of new connectors for different products. They've added the ability to copy from clipboard or to clipboard from data profiling. There's been some changes for performance improvements for multi-dimensional models, enhanced dataset metadata, and they've also added the feature using default system credentials for a web proxy. Let's walk into some demos of these products so you can see some of these features in action. So first thing we're going to look at is the ability to group different visuals together. So I have two visuals, a revenue card here and a total units card. So the way you would group this is you select the first visual, hold the control button, select your second visual on the page. And now I can actually create a grouping by, if I go to view and actually select the selection pane, I can see I have two different cards here and I can actually add a grouping. So to do that, if I right click and go to group and then say group these. So now I have one grouping visuals, which I can now turn on and off different visuals. So it makes it easier if you have a lot of visuals and are doing bookmarking. I can turn these on and off. The other thing is you may not, if you right click and don't have the option to do grouping, One of the things you have to do is go to File and Options and Settings, and go down to Current File Report Settings, and you're going to have to turn on Modern Visual Header for updating styling options. So this will have to be turned on for this to be available to you. So I'm just going to hit OK at this point. Another new feature is icon sets. So I have a table here that's showing revenue by region. So if I go to the Format Visual tab here and go to Conditional Formatting, I can actually turn on icon set. So it's going to give me this nice little wizard here that I can now select to apply a certain style. So the new feature is the ability to have different icon sets available to me. So for example, if I turn on this icon set here, it's giving me different numbers and I can make adjustments to this. I'm just going to hit OK at this point. So this is based on our region, but I actually want this to be set to revenue. So I'm just going to change this to revenue here instead of region. We're going to apply that icon set. So this is the default icons. If I go to Advanced Controls, it brings up my thing again. I can change the icon set that's available to me. So we'll make that change, and I'll hit OK. As you can see now, it's showing, the East has more sales than Southwest as an example. So obviously that icon is a little bit different. So just ability to change icon sets is the new feature. Other new feature added is default themes. So if I go to the View tab here in the ribbon, I can see a bunch of different themes in the system. So they've just added default as the new theme. So this aligns with more of the Microsoft colors. So it's just a default theme that's available to me. I also have the ability to unpin visuals now. So for example, if I didn't want to see, let's say this Power Apps for Power BI visual, I right click on this and I can say unpin this visual. I can hit OK to that, and now it's not available in the normal visualizations. Another new thing that's added is a modern ribbon. So as you can see, this ribbon here, if I go to the home page, looks more like I would see in Excel or Word or Office, other Office applications. Insert more of the same. I have modeling tab. Ribbon, as we can see, the ribbon is very similar to other Office applications. I also have the ability to customize current themes. So as an example, if I go to themes here again, I can now say customize this specific theme. It's going to bring up a wizard where I can give it a name. So whatever name I want to, I can specify the main color. I can go to text and change the text of that default theme. I can change some visuals, some borders, on and on, make changes, hit apply and save. I can also, in the customize current theme section, I can actually export out the theme as well. I won't do that in this case. We also have the ability to modify KPIs now. So here's just the basic KPI report. As you can see, I have revenue by date here. Here's a modified KPI. So the way you would do this is basically take this basic KPI, go to the Format tab, and now I can specify, as an example, I can put in a sales goal measure here, which I've done. So it's showing me my goal of $1.1 million. If we go back to the Format tab, I can change color coding. I can go to general, indicator analysis, and I can move these around. So I can move it around, change the vertical spot of the visual. Once again, if I remove sales goal, I don't have that information, but if I re-add sales goal as a target goal into the visual, I'm going to see an increase. I can change the font color. If this is a negative number, this would show red as an example. Like I've also added the date showing into the visual too. So just some ways to clean up the KPI visual, make it look a lot nicer. The decomposition tree visual, which is this visual here, is a new feature. So what this is I've added, I want to analyze the sales and I want to explain it by state, country, or manufacturer. I have the ability to do either one of the three. So once I've added this sales, it's showing me $2.9 billion of sales here total. I can click the plus and see. I can then analyze it by, let's say I want to see sales breakdown by country. So I would select country, and it gives me a breakdown of 1.6 billion for US versus 61 million for Australia, on and on. Now I want to see the US sales broken down further. So I can click that and say, show me the highest sales value as an example, or I could do by state. I'm just going to say highest value. So what this will do is it'll actually break down by state the highest value. So it drew this dotted line for me, and it's showing me that California has 341 million of the total 1.6 billion dollars of US sales. And I then could analyze this even further. So I could go and say, I want to see further, I want to see the highest value by manufacturer as an example. And now this will show me Van Arsdale as $105 million of that total number. So as you can see, it's a nice graphical way of representing or drilling down onto my sales information and making it very visible. Another new feature is the ability to hide the filter pane, which is this area here. So the way I would do that is I go to the view tab up here, select filters, and now it just gives me a little more screen real estate. So if I'm not going to be using filters or applying filters, my report's just a way to turn this on and off or hide the filter pane. I'm just going to turn that back on for a second. Another new feature is hierarchical slicer. So what that is I have a slicer here on the report that's showing country and then state or province by country. So as you can see, it's hierarchical in nature. So I can just collapse all of these and see it by country and actually drill down. So in the US here. So as you can see, I have the three fields selected, country, state, and district. So in the US, as an example, I would have districts underneath USA, but obviously in my data set, I don't have districts under Canada here as an example. It's just blank under each one of these provinces. So just a quick way to be able to drill into the data using hierarchical structure. They've also added the ability to use buttons to navigate to different pages. You used to be able to do this using bookmarks, which you still can do. That just makes it a little easier. If I had a bunch of buttons on this one page, I could have them drill in. So the way this works is if I hold the control button and I set up the button here, and I can click on there and it's going to drill to the KPI page. So if I go back to the action type for buttons, so the way you would set this up is if I select the button visual here and I go to the button text, which I've added some text into here. So just added KPI as a button. So if I go to the action page, I have to specify a type of page navigation as my action type and select my destination page that I want to go to. And it's that simple. Once I've done that, I can now have a visual that, like I said, drills back to, so I could set up a bunch of different buttons that go to different pages and make a very interactive sort of report that allows the user to just click around. Staying with buttons here, one of the other actions they've added is the ability to use drill throughs with buttons. So I have a button here that says by manufacturer. So the way this works, once again, is I have an action, and I've set the type to be drill through, and our destination is by manufacturer. So what will happen with this visual is if I hold Control and click on it, if I select, as an example, if I select Japan here, as you can see, it's filtered the rest of my report. But now if I click on that report, it's now going to my by manufacturer page. It applied a filter here of where country is equal to Japan. So it's filtered this entire data set for that particular country. Another feature is the sort by multiple columns. So I have a table visual here. And what I can do is if I hold the Shift button, I can now select multiple columns to sort by. So as an example, I have, if I want to sort US as an example here by country, but I also want to sort by manufacturer, I can do that. Hold Shift, click on that, and now you're going to see it's sorted by alphabetical by country, and then by manufacturer. So once again, I can just click off of that and sort once again by manufacturer, ascending or descending orders. So data validation and ability to export to Excel is another new feature. So what that looks like is if I go to the Home tab here and then go to Transform Data, so Power Query. So this is how you get to it in the new ribbon. Notice it brings up what is Power Query. And if I go to View, I can actually turn on these different data preview things. So I have column distribution, column profile, column quantity. So by doing that, now in each one of these columns, it's showing me, is there errors in particular columns set of data? What's the distribution of that data? So one of the things I can do is I can select this data down here. I can actually then copy this and, as an example, paste this into Excel and actually see that data in Excel. So very, very valuable tool to review and profile your data. Another new feature is dual access. So if I have a line chart as an example here, and I now have a Y2 axis, so I have revenue and also total units graphed here by quarter. So you had to use custom visuals to do this in the past, and now this is built into just the normal Power BI visuals. They've added the ability for filter pane searches. So if I go to my filters, and on this particular visual, if I want to start searching for one of my filters, I have country, state, sales, revenue, a bunch of different filters, but I could start typing in here and it's going to return just that particular filter, and then I can apply, if I only want to see Canada as an example, it's now applied that filter to only see Canada, my data set. So nice feature they've added there. Another new visual is the Q&A visual. So where that visual is under, it's right here under visualizations Q&A. So if I add this visual to the page, let me just delete what I have here as an example. Let's just re-add that. So when you add it, it's going to give you some suggestions of different colors, and these can be, you can change the colors with themes and formatting and other things. But here's an example. I can, using natural language, ask different questions of my data set. So I could say, show me total sales by country. And we'll just hit enter to that. So I have total sales by country here, as you can see. Now it's putting these underscore blue because it's understanding these words in my data set, which is sales and country. But if I did, as an example, total revenue instead of sales, it also understands revenue, but now I actually get the revenue number, which is what I want, of the $1.8 billion broken for US. So nice tool to use. There's some other features that I'll walk through with the Q&A tool here right now. You can also click on the gear icon up in the corner here. And I can review, if I'm signed into the Power BI service, I can actually review the questions that were asked. So if I click on review questions as an example, it's going to sign into the Power BI service, and it's going to say, what are the different questions that have been asked over time. I can click on teach Q&A, so I can, put in different natural language questions and hit submit these. I can actually manage the terms as well. So an example of this is I could have, let's go back to question or getting started here. So I could actually use the term area, which actually means country, and then it would know that, synonym of area is actually country, and to use the word area. So as an example, if I go total revenue by area instead of the word country, I get the same value as you see here. Press enter, because it knows areas actually means country. So, but if I did something like by region is actually a data set here, but if I did by, let's say, county, it doesn't know what county means in my data set, so it's actually going to underline it as red here and allow me to then, it's going to say it doesn't recognize what county is, and then I can actually define what county is. Click on that, and I can actually go to manage terms once again and say that this actually means region as an example. So I could manage the terms once again. Another new feature is conditional formatting on buttons. So I have a button here that I have on my form. And if I go to button text as an example, I have some conditional formatting on the text. So if I just drag the mouse and see these three little dots here, I can click on that and go to conditional formatting. So it's on the word country. I'm using conditional formatting on that value and hit OK. So now when I'm in my slicer, I'm selecting different values. The text of the button is changing based on what I've selected in my slicer. So that's just a way of you can have that flow through using conditional button formatting. I could change the color. I could change text size, all sorts of things with conditional formatting on different objects within the button. Webinar recap. We reviewed all the new features released since August 2019 and showed off some of them in action. Please go to powerbi.microsoft.com/en-us/blog to see all the new features by month.